Hey there, it's Chaya again, and I am so excited for today's message. Wow, if you're just watching this for the first time, this message alone is good enough. It has what it takes to actually change your life, and I say this from my own personal experience. I heard this a while back, and literally within a couple of days, I started to notice a different version of me. See, we all have a storyline, right? The character that you are in your storyline. That's determined based on your past. Based off of your past experiences, we have created our stories of how our future more or less will look. It can sometimes change, but more or less we know because we know who we are, what character we are in the story, what kind of person we are, and most of all, how the stuff around us work. Now, I'm not actually going to talk about storyline right now. I want to just introduce you to that concept so you can start getting your brain cells thinking, But what I want to talk about right now is the words we use. As a kid, I remember my mom saying how words have real power. And I would sometimes experience this where for a couple of days I would pay attention to the words I was saying and I would start to notice, hey, people say many words that are very harsh. And then their realities become harsh. But you know how a child works. Life got in the way. There was so much on my mind, and I kind of just drifted away from that concept. I would come back every so often, but I kind of just kept going with my life. And then a couple of months ago actually, I came across a video that told me about how the words you use, and I'm sorry, I don't remember who said this, but the words you use, they determine the reality you're in. Your mind doesn't know the difference between reality and the words you use, right? It only believes whatever it perceives. So if you make it believe that you're pissed, like, oh, I'm so pissed, then it doesn't even make a difference whether the other person said something bad or not. You will be angry. What if you tell yourself, I'm dying? You start to believe I'm dying and your body starts to go into this shock place where it's trying to save you. What if you say, I'm starving? You start to act like you've been in the Holocaust and it's 3 years in and you're starving. You're not starving. Most of us don't even know what that means and never felt that feeling. The words we use are very harsh. And this isn't to say that I don't understand why, especially since TV is all over the place and the words they use are really harsh. That's how they sell. They're meant to. That's how they sell their shows, their movies. That's their job. But sadly, it trickled into us. And now we say the stuff that they say there, even though we never want the realities they have there. We're creating the realities they have there on the show, on the screen, and then we start to believe we are the characters that we've seen. We start to believe that our reality is similar. But it isn't. See, the words you use, they make a difference. I heard the story, there were 3 people that were making this business deal, and the last minute they were literally about to close. They came for signing after like weeks and months, and came the final signature, and the guy who they were doing the deal with decided, I don't know, something's off, I can't go through with it. And the reactions between the 3 were astounding. One of them was literally livid, acting like it was a personal offense, yelling, screaming, not at the guy after they left, obviously, when they were talking about it. And he's yelling and screaming, I don't understand what was wrong. He's yelling to anyone who would listen. He doesn't need you to listen. The other guy was, actually looked almost okay. And the third one was angry, but also curious. He's looking at the other 2 and he says, wait, what just happened here? And he turns to the quiet one, the calmer one, and says, I don't understand. Aren't you angry? He says, yeah, that's really a big shame. He says, I understand, but aren't you angry? It's really inconvenient that this fell through. He says, I don't understand. Aren't you angry? He says, why don't you hear me? I think it's really inconvenient. we're going to have to start all over now. He says, I don't get it. Look at you and look at him. We all went through the same thing and you're just kind of chilled about this. He says, I'm not chilled. He says, but you're not angry like him. He says, I understand. I don't think it's a personal offense. And he says, no, this is something else. See, the words you're using are simple words. That's when it dawned on him. The words the other guy was using was, I'm so angry. He tried to tear me apart. He thought, and these words were so exaggerated that the anger that came out was exaggerated as well. When I heard the story, I remember just having this realization. I believe Tony Robbins actually said this story, if I'm not mistaken, with his exuberant energy. I remember thinking to myself, wow. So you're saying that there could be many different kind of people, many different kind of people going through, many different people going through the same experience and many different outcomes. Meaning if you put me through even a few times through the same exact story, like Groundhog Day, like put me through a story and then put me through it again, and I just change the words I use, the story will change completely. So I started to try it, and the most amazing thing happened. What I did was I took a pen and paper and I wrote down all the words that I used on a daily basis, like I'm pissed, or this is so frustrating, I feel like I'm dying, she's sucking the life out of me. That was one of my biggest ones. Stuff like that. I wrote down my phrases, my words, and then I wrote words I thought I can replace them with, like this is inconvenient, this is uncomfortable, this, this is a minor setback. And slowly those words got easier, became even lighter words and lighter words. And as I went slowly, I started to realize that based off of the words I use, that's the feeling I feel. Remember, thoughts turn into feelings, turn into actions. So if you can put the right words into your thoughts, you can replace feelings that are huge into feelings that feel good and feel okay or a little uncomfortable. So today, for homework, make that list. Take a piece of paper, make a line in the middle, make the list of the words that you usually use to describe big feelings. And on the other side, words you can replace them with, lighter words, simpler words. And I can't wait to see you soon. And see how your life begins to change. Slowly but surely, piece by piece. The words you say, they will determine the life you live in. Today, tomorrow, and every minute after today. Your past does not determine your future. Not unless you continue to relive your past. Again, your past does not determine your future, not unless you're determined to relive it. And sadly, if that was true, that my past was my future, that would be pretty sad, wouldn't it? I'm sure you can relate to that. So how about you take the reins of your own life and turn your future into one that you want to live in. One where your feelings are based off of that column that you made of lighter words, of lighter feelings that come with those words. Feelings that free you and make you feel like you can do anything way faster. Feelings that make you be allowed to feel without taking over your entire world. You ready to do this? Come on, let's go.